Hello everyone, Zellerant here, and every day it seems like more information's coming out for Yoohee. It makes sense since she is getting ready to release on the CN version. So I've seen there is now a new trailer for her, and this trailer includes a bunch of little updates that they're getting that'll be nice to know that we have coming up. And then I've also started theory crafting some of the units we're going to want to utilize alongside her, and man, is the physical team looking really good, especially now that we do know what's going to be on Daiyan and Litera's expansion keys that they're getting with this patch. And so we'll go ahead and discuss that as well. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer they have released for her. This is kind of just breaking down everything that's coming with this patch in CN. And so these are things we can expect in the future, maybe not all at the same time, but we will be getting all this stuff at some point, as we can kind of see with the current events we're getting. So it starts right off showing her. And there's a bunch of new skins and all kinds of stuff coming. Oh, it's a little loud. I'll turn it down a little bit. Yeah, she's power creeping all the idols by a significant amount. It's got like music on her hand or speakers. And her gun. I've already looked at her gun. I haven't seen any breakdown of the numbers on the gun yet, though. I really want to see how valuable the dupes are. And this is the costume that they've shown where you can change the look. So you can, it's like different pieces you can change. So they're starting to make the skins have more options to them. And they got this new one for Faye. I will say with Faye, she is absolutely going to be a must-have in the physical team. And she's actually now, and I'll be making an updated video kind of updating my standard poll priorities, because I mean, her coming out has kind of shifted all my poll priorities, because I absolutely want to get Faye's V6, and we'll look at why here in a second. But Faye is going to be extremely good alongside Yoohee on making the physical team good. Did it actually? I didn't see that on the TV. Did it have Daiyan on the TV there? Yeah, she was there for like a second. I actually really like the skin. This is pretty cool. It's like a gumball type thing in there. I'll end up picking this one up just because it looks pretty cool. Unless this, well, it says Yoohee on it. Is this her Covenant gun? This may be her Covenant gun, because I think they're about to show the new Covenants they're adding to the game here. Yeah, so your typical story here. It's a new MIDI game. This looks like a, almost kind of gives me the feeling of like Metroid or something here. I don't know. You're climbing up, though. I don't know if there's any left or right much. But it looks pretty interesting. They've had some, it's been really good with their mini games. I've loved this Vampire Survivors one they have in the game. And then they've added a new boss. I mean, we've already fought this guy, but a new and improved one, I'm guessing. Do like the song, though, they have, too, for her. So a lot of typical stuff here. I believe they show the shop as well, or other new additions. So this is the one I believe, yeah, you get a gift from all of them. We've had this event already on the English. So we have the expansion key. We'll be looking at the translation someone has shown here. I have the snippet of it, but it is her expansion key, as well as Litera is getting one as well. Litera is actually looking like she's going to be significantly better, and actually pretty good in the physical team, depending on what you're doing. We'll hear that in a second. So you will be able to covenant her right off the bat, but then they're also adding Ulrid. And then this is the shop, I believe. This is the one where you have the little tokens that we can, right now, currently on the English side, the only thing we can buy is the standard weapons. But as you can see here, they've started adding, it looks like skins that maybe you missed. Because right here we have, I'm pretty sure we've got this skin in the English version already. So that is nice that missable stuff may be purchasable in the future if you haven't gotten it in the event, because it might not ever come back in terms of an event. So maybe you can buy it here. I would like them to add, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, because we have these ones. I believe we got this in the first event. I wonder if they'll add the ability to get like the PvP stuff you missed at some point in the future, or maybe they'll redo the same PvP event where you can get those banners in that, or like the battle pass portrait. But we'll kind of have to see there. But overall, it looks like a great update. I do like that they're adding the skins to the shop eventually, so you don't have to feel pressured if you missed something. You can always get it down the line. Now, they did have this one, which kind of showcases all the skin stuff here. So this will be her skin. Definitely getting more on the fan service with the new skins, as we can see. But it shows, I don't know if it shows it here. It showed it in the video, but it's customizable. You can change like what her headpiece is, whether or not she's wearing the stockings and that kind of stuff. But yeah, an overall nice little kit there. And this gun, I don't know if this is a skin or this is for getting her Covenant. The fact that it says Yoohee on it, but the Covenant weapons have all shown, like, all the ones that we've got, like, I've gotten so far have, like, their face on it. So, but the fact that it says Yoohee here makes me think it's our Covenant weapon, but we'll kind of have to see. So we have that. And so then the other thing I wanted to look at here, someone got in our Discord gave me this, which is the translation of the expansion keys for Daiyan and Latara. And let me tell you, Daiyan is going up. Her value is shooting way up. So we have Flowing Melody. And so what this one is, for every stack of permanent tuning, ignore 10% of the enemy's defense when attacking. And permanent tuning is going to be, from what I can see, a lot easier to get now. And that's because at the end of the action, gain 2 stacks of tuning. So by default now, she's just going to get 2 stacks at the end of her turn every turn. And for every stack of permanent tuning, gain 1 point of Confectance Index. And that's going to be really big. We're going to take a look at Daiyan's kit again. We're not going to go over the whole thing because I've already done a video on her. But she is looking really, really good because with this, for every stack of permanent tuning, ignore 10%. At V3, she's going to be able to get all the way up to 60%. At V0, she can get 30% defense ignore. So that's going to be really big with her. And the nice thing about this is it makes it where you, like, her V6 was really nice if you had to fight a lot of enemies. But her V6 is negligible now. If you really want to min-max Daiyan, her really good stopping point's actually going to be V3 now versus V6. But then we have Latara's here, which is Strategist Gaze. If the target has defense-related debuffs, which in physical team, they're going to pretty much always have that, increases damage dealt to the target by 10%, so just a flat 10% increase, and then ignore 15% of the cover damage reduction. So if they're undercover, you can ignore that. Latara, that just brings up her value a decent amount, because one thing is she may be, like, we'll have to see on the complete Yoohee's kit, because I haven't seen the numbers yet, but how much value do you get when you go over 100% defense reduction? And the reason for that is it's going to actually be really easy. And so the first one I want to take a look at is we have the unit we just had. She just came off banner. Where is she on here? Daiyan. The big thing, and the reason everybody, like, she was considered a skip and all that right now is because she has a hard time getting all of her stacks of tuning to get that permanent tuning. And as you know, tuning up here, if you read it, increases crit by 3%, crit damage by 3%, and that can be stacked up to 10 times. And then she gets 6,000 extra movement after tank. The big thing is it was really hard to start ramping up tuning until you hit V3, I believe. Or no, it was V6 got it where you can start getting the permanent tuning up a little bit quicker when you kill enemies. But then the V2 is where you can get more tuning from her skill 2 here. And I think it's still going to be quite important. Like, I think the biggest thing you're going to want if you're really wanting to min-max the physical and do a lot of damage with her is to get her V3. But with her new expansion key, when it's going to give her 2 stacks of tuning every single turn at the end of turn. And when you look at her ultimate, the biggest problem is her ultimate has a 6-turn cooldown, and you reduce cooldown for every stack of tuning you get. And so since she's going to be, by default, getting 2 stacks of tuning from that expansion key, that's basically making it where this is now a 4-turn cooldown. And then you have her skill 2 here, which gives 3 layers of tuning. Those 3 layers of tuning then bring it up to 5, which then at V0 brings us basically down her ultimate to a single turn cooldown just by default. Now, if you get her her skill 2, from what I can tell, I believe we should be able to ultimate every turn, because now you're going to get 6 layers. So you'll get 6 layers whenever you do this skill, which means then you're going to be able to ult every turn. And then every layer of permanent tuning you get, when you look at her expansion key, permanent tuning, gain 1 point of confectance index. So that's going to be a way to get the confectance index for this right here. And you need 4 to use her skill 2. But there are other ways within her kit to get confectance index. I haven't gone through every single one of them, but I believe with the correct setup on her, we should be able to ult every turn. And if we're able to ult every turn, then when we're doing like the platoon boss, which is going over multiple turns, we should be able to stack that permanent tuning quite quickly. And that's going to be important, especially for if you want to push to her V3. Because at V3, you can get 6 stacks of permanent tuning. And at 6 stacks with her new buff here on the key, that means you can get 60% defense reduction at V3. But that's not completely necessary at V0 or V2, because V2 is a good stopping point as well. You can get 30% defense reduction just from her kit by herself. Now, the other character that now their value shooting way up, you seen her low on all the tier lists. And one reason I was saving my standard pulls now that I have my V2 and Tololo and V3 QJ is because I wanted to see what value Faye gets in the future. And her value has gone way up with the physical team now. And so if you've got your V2 Tololo and V3 QJ, those good stopping points, I think for a majority of people, this is a point where you actually want to save your standard tickets again until Faye gets added to the game, because she does go to the standard banner. And the big reason is this skill here, Laceration. And so this one is increased physical damage received by 30%, and this can be stacked up to 8 times. The effect is not stacked. So just having one thing of Laceration does that 30%. But what the 8 stacks does is when you go down here, it's inner passive, I believe. Laceration, yeah. When attacking, ignores 2% times the number of stacks of Laceration of the enemy's defense. And so right now you can get a stack up to 8 times. So Laceration at V0 of Faye can get you a 16% defense reduction. But she's a standard unit. So even for free to play, she's a unit that you can save up for dupes quite easily, as long as you just start stockpiling them now, because you will be able to target her on the new rate up banner. And her dupes get even better and better. Her V1, for example, increases the defense ignore multiplier for each stack by 2%. So now it's going to be 4% times the stacks, or 4 times 8, or 32 defense reduction. So just V1 by itself brings it up to 32%. And then if you really want to push your investment in her, you go all the way to her upgrade 6 here, no survivors. This is what my ultimate goal is on the standard banner for the future, and that is because the effects applied when the target has 6 or more stacks of Laceration, it is changed, or 6 or more stacks of Laceration are changed, consumes 6 stacks of Laceration. For each stack of Laceration held by the target, increases damage dealt by 20% up to a maximum of 160%, increases crit rate by 5% and crit damage by 2%. Get a lot of extra crit rate and crit damage applied in there. And then when you kind of look at some of this other stuff in here, some of these, there's a lot of other stuff in here for Laceration. Yeah, like open wounds. So you have all this other debuffs that you can put on that basically just add more damage. equivalent of 8% attacks. But the big thing is getting that 32% defense reduction. You can get up to 60 with Daiyan, 32 with Faye. So with just those, you get 92% defense reduction. Then you have Yoohee, who has, I believe it was 50% if I remember from her kit. Let me see here. I believe it was 50%, or did it actually say? It's kind of man, where is that thing? It was in one of these things. Oh, well, we have that anti-guard damage boost. And this is the big reason you're wanting to stack so much defense reduction, is because if you exceed 100%, damage dealt to them is increased. And so getting over that 100% is why we're looking at this as being such a big deal and getting this much defense reduction. But I believe there's defense reduction built into here somewhere. I can't remember which one. But we have it somewhere in her kit. But we also have it on her, I know it's on her gun as well. Her limited gun allows active physical attacks to ignore parts of a defense. So that'll add more on top of that. But then when we look at the other characters here, and why Latera is actually showing some quite good value is, where is she on here? Latera is right here. She has the ability to put defense decrease 2, which is a 30% defense reduction. That's big. So that one now, if you have V3 Daiyan, V6 Faye, or just V1 Faye, you only need V1, then you can get up to, so that's going to take you up to like 122% reduction. So that's going over that 100%. Then she has like the ability to put vulnerability on them. Her new key here gives you a flat 10% and ignore based on the, my cat's just walking over my computer here. You're going to see her tail for a second. But you're going to get extra damage there from Latera. So Latera may actually be a really good unit to bring in. I mean, that 30% is going to be really nice to trigger that extra defense reduction. And then you kind of have it sprinkled throughout on your other units. Like I believe Graza has some defense reduction in hers as well. She can put, I think, defense decrease 1, which is a 20%. And I think, yeah, like Papa Shah, not much to her, but I believe her city guard can do defense reduction. Ignores 30% defense. So there's a 30% that you can add on top of it. So Papa Shah may show some big value. It really comes down to how much value over 100 is going over 100% going to be. What is the buff that you're actually getting in terms of damage from that? Because it looks like you're going to be able to get quite a bit. And that also brings into something that'll have to be tested is this gun feels like it's going to be a very good generic gun simply because all allied units' active physical attacks ignore part of the target's defense. How much is that going to be? I believe it might have been in the video. I have not seen the translation for it yet. But that will be huge. And whether it can stack, because Daiyan is an assault rifle user. Can I put this gun on Yoohee and Daiyan, and will they both apply this Radiant Sparks buff and stack them? Or is it only going to take one of them into considerations because it's two of the same gun? I don't know about that yet, but I could see this being a very good generic gun for all of your physical damage dealers if it's able to stack. And so we'll get some there. And I know I'm missing some characters. I mean, I know Alrid is a good one that'll probably be coming in because she can give a lot of confectance index to Yoohee. So all of the physical units are having their value brought up quite big. So we'll kind of have to see as we get more information on it, but this is definitely making it... They are really showing that they're willing to bring all characters back up into the meta, because I think this is going to potentially have the ability to be, at least for bossing, able to do a lot of damage. It just ultimately comes down to how much her buff is for going over that 100% defense reduction, because if it's significant, you could see them out damaging Springfield and Tololo comps. I mean, who knows? We'll have to kind of see once CN gets it and actually starts testing it. But yeah, it is looking really good. And for those that skip Daiyan, you may want to pick her up in the future because this pretty much fixes a good chunk of her problems that a lot of people had. And while V3 is going to be extremely good for that defense reduction, V0 is going to be quite fine. Or if you want to just go to V2, V2 will be quite fine. Because the big thing is you're still going to be able to pretty much ult every other turn. And depending on the bosses and how many turns you have, you're still going to be able to ramp her up quite quickly now with this expansion key because of getting that confectance points and extra tuning at the end of every turn. So definitely brings her into value. I'm wondering to see how CN rates her on their tier list going into the future, as well as Faye, because all the tier lists had Faye really low. But I'm putting, like, Faye is my... I've actually brought Faye above Mosin Nagant in terms of going for a V6, just because I think she's going to be extremely good. Not only because of all the defense reduction she gives, but all these other debuffs that she adds on top of it with it. And with her and Daiyan by themselves at V3, just being able to get to 92% by themselves is going to be great. But yeah, that is Yoohee. A great character. I think she's going to be, anybody that wants to use physical units, she's going to be an absolute must pull. Now, if you're skipping all the physical units and you don't care about Daiyan or any of those, or you don't care about Faye, she'll be an easy skip because she is pretty much... I mean, I could see her having value in the other teams because like all the units do some form of physical damage. At least a majority of them do. So she could have some value in other teams because like I've mentioned, we can take off... if you take off QJ's expansion key, that way she won't do this burn damage and it'll be physical. So this could be a way to take advantage of QJ in a physical team. And so we might have that concept with some of the other elemental units. I haven't really theory crafted every single one of them yet. I've mostly just looked into the physical ones themselves specifically, and they look like the ones taking the biggest advantage of her kit. So those are probably going to be the meta characters to use with her. But overall, a great character to get if you like physical units. She's going to be a must pull, and she'll probably be a great pull even if you don't use the physical units. But that's pretty much it for now. I'm just waiting for them to actually get all of the numbers and put it on the spreadsheet, and then we can actually I can take an even more in-depth look on that and actually see where she's going to lie in terms of, is she able to do more damage than the hybrid or the Hydro team with Tololo and Springfield? How does she do comparing against like the Burn team? Because ultimately that's what's going to determine where they are in the meta. Now, even if they're not stronger, I can already tell they're going to be close or similar. And ultimately, when it comes to this game, you want to play with characters you like. So that's why I said, even though they rated Daiyan low, she's still a great pickup for anybody that likes her as a character. She's going to be getting better in the future, and we can see that they are willing to do that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you like my content, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.